Place your chilled pastry onto a lightly floured work surface and also well flour your rolling pin. And then start to roll firmly. Always roll in one direction, turning it at 90 degrees every once in a while so that you can keep the round shape. If you're lining a flan tin, it's actually much easier to have the main block of pastry already in a round, and then when you roll it'll be more or less the right shape. If your pastry starts to crack a little at the edges as you're rolling, simply push it back together as you go so that those cracks don't widen up too much as you're rolling. Keep the surface well floured. The pastry shouldn't be any thicker than about 6 millimeters, that's about 1/4 of an inch, and you're aiming to roll out a circle that's larger than the tin that you're going to line. If you look at this tin, it's about 3/4 of an inch deep, so you need at least 3/4 of an inch extra on all sides, preferably a little more, probably an inch or even 2 as I've done here. So once you've rolled the pastry out, place the rolling pin at the top and just roll it gently over the rolling pin so that you can lift it up, and that way it won't break. Place your tin in front of you and then very gently place the pastry over the top. And then start by just pulling the edges up and pressing them to the sides. Another tip that I could give you is to actually just take a piece of the excess pastry, roll it into a sort of ball, and then use that to get the pastry right down into the corners. It'll stop any finger marks or actually fingernails poking through the pastry. Go all the way round, and then once it's all firmly in place, take a sharp knife, lift up your flan and simply cut around the edges. And there you have a perfectly lined flan tin ready for baking. Now, depending on what recipe you're using, you may have to partly bake this before you can fill it. In actual fact, most recipes call for that. And if that's the case, you should take a fork and just make little holes all over the base.